We're here today to talk about how your feet are ruining your athletic performance and setting you up for injury. As athletes, we spend heaps of time in running shoes, boots, cycling cleats, flippers. Unless you're a triathlete, you're probably never wearing flippers. And these all impact the ability of our foot to operate the way it's naturally designed. So we're going to talk about some key concepts that are going to allow you to improve the functioning of your feet, allow you to get more control so then your performance has a larger foundation and platform to produce off, and then how we can reduce our injury risk by really understanding these key concepts. Step one, lose the shoes. Get rid of the feet coffins. They're doing you no good. If you're spending time in them for your sport, that's the reality. We understand that, but use your time in the gym to get barefoot, time when you're doing your warm-ups to get barefoot, and then we can really get our feet functioning the way they were designed. Step two, understanding the anatomy of the foot and the foot tripod. So the foot tripod is base of the big toe, base of the little toe, and the heel. And we want to be able to spread our weight evenly over those 3 points. If we start to lose a point, it's like losing a point of a tripod. We're going to be able to fall down way easier. And as you can appreciate, if we start to load up here on the outside of those 2 points, then it changes the knee, changes the hip, changes the back, it changes the whole kinetic chain. So we want to be able to understand the foot tripod. Then once we understand foot tripod, we want to understand arch control. So flat feet, high arches, there are no good or bad, but you've got to be able to control what you've got. When you have an arch position, when you stand up and take load on the arch, does it stay the same shape or does it start to collapse? Because if we can't control our foot and we get this collapse when we're trying to get it to be strong, as you can see, it now affects knee position, it affects hip position, and we're going to set ourselves up for injury, loading different spots, but it's also the handbrakes on performance. We want to get rid of these weak links in the chain. Step three, we're going to be mobilizing so our foot can perform the way it needs to. So when we're going through gait cycle, running, walking, jumping, we need our foot to pronate and supinate. So we need it to go through these motions and cycles so we can fully complete our gait. If we're too stiff, we spend too long in a cycling cleat or a boot, and then it doesn't function the way we want to, we can't shock absorb upstream, and then we're going to set ourselves up for a bit of an injury risk. What we're going to do here is we're going to use some yoga toes to spread the toes out and create a wider base. You think about building foundations on top of something very narrow, it's more likely to fall down. Whereas if we've got this wide base and we talk about that first line where we can take force, if this is in here, we're going to rock in much easier. Whereas if we've got this wider base, then we can take force in all these different positions and be a little more stable on our foot. So let's use the yoga toes or the toe spreaders. All right, so the boys at the Foot Collective are a good space to get these, but if you don't have the toe spreaders to get that wider kind of foot position we're talking about, Ellie will demonstrate on the other foot what we call the Venus flytrap. So you want to grab this foot and you want to interlace each of your fingers in between your toes, like so. Then you want to grab the heel of your hand, grab down, and then you want to try and bend and mobilize, naturally creating that spread between the toes. So if you can slide your toes, your fingers further through, we can start to create more space between each toe. And then we want to use the heel of the hand to start to mobilize this midfoot that can get quite stiff. And when that's stiff, it then won't come down and allow us to go through those gait cycles like what we're talking about. So using the hand, you can grab the other hand as well and start to really get some rotation, torsion, twisting through the foot. Another great tool to help mobilize the foot is a trigger ball. I'll bring you in here to show you exactly where we want to hit on the foot. So we want to spend a lot of time in this arch position, but people only spend time here. You're really missing out on the ability to get these lateral components and then start to mobilize in between the bones in the feet, the metatarsals. So some of this lateral stuff can get quite sticky and that can lead to tightness up the side of the body here. So Ellie's going to come down onto the floor, stand up for this one so we can get enough pressure, and then we want to roll and put as much pressure down, starting on the inside of that tripod, first 2 points. We go slightly across and then roll back down again, slightly across, roll, slightly across, roll, and then just start to explore all those tight little spots in the foot. Step 4, we've moved over to a wall, give us some support. This isn't about the balance component, it's more about developing the strength in those intrinsic muscles in the feet. Come on down. So we're gonna do 2 variations here. We're gonna go foot further away from the wall, back towards my hand. And then from here, front leg up, we're gonna calf raise as high as we can and really try and load through the base of the first and second toe, so we start to strengthen the muscles in the control of that arch. Heel back down towards the floor, drive up, good. And we're gonna go 25 to 30 reps, that's the goal. If we can do more, happy days, but if there's a massive imbalance side to side or we're way off that number, this is something we really need to focus on. Version number 2 is a bent knee. So this starts to target a different calf muscle, and then we calf raise up from here, still focusing on first to second toe as we're transitioning through. Bent knee, really challenging that ankle mobility, but again, the intrinsic muscles in the feet are really gonna cop it.